What is up, YouTube? Back from the YouTube video, and today we have a guide on how to unlock the Microcosm exotic heavy trace rifle. Now on screen I'm going to be showing you kind of all the quests that you have to do in order to complete this. So you can see number one, the main thing is beat the Final Shape campaign, and then once you complete all those missions they're going to give you the Destined Heroes quest. Now the second objective here is going to be to actually do the Destined Heroes quest step 1, which is a Queen's part 1. I shouldn't say step 1, it's more like step 3, but it's like the first mission that you actually do a part of the Destined Heroes quest. Now if you do need help with how to do any of that, I do have a guide on the Ergo Sum exotic sword and how to complete it through the Destined Heroes quest. So that'll be popping up either on screen right now in the little annotation cards, or it'll be linked down in the description. So if you need help with that, just check that out. But all you have to do is that one mission to the Queen's part 1, and then when you complete that, it's going to tell you to go talk to people at the Lost City. Then it's going to give you an objective to talk to Micah 10. When you talk to her, she's going to give you the Convalescence route bound quest. Now when you get that quest, you want to do that instantly, because after that you're going to have to do all these quests one by one. So after you complete Convalescence route bound, she's going to give you some loot, and then she's going to give you the Convalescence underbrush quest. Go ahead and do that, complete that, she's going to give you some loot, and then she's going to give you the Convalescence greenery quest. Complete that, get your loot, and then she's going to give you the last quest, which is the Convalescence budding quest. Now this is the quest that's going to give you the exotic as the reward, but this is going to be a little different compared to the other quests. Before, all you had to do was run around to a search site, look for a ghost, interact with stuff, kill something, and then get your reward. Here it's going to be a little more complicated. You are going to have to repeat 3 missions from the campaign. These 3 missions are going to be Ascent, Dissent, and Iconoclasm. Now they're going to be different with a twist on them. They're going to be called cooperative fire team missions, and these are going to require you to have a teammate, so prepare yourself for that. They're also going to have their own mechanics and stuff like that that will break down once we actually get into the missions, but just know those quests are going to be needed in order to make it this far into the quest. But I'm going to assume that you've done all the easy stuff now, and let's actually get into the mission. So we're going to start off with the Ascent mission. Now before we start Ascent, I do want to show you that there are modifiers on it. You can see that there's a power leader, so you and your teammate, however many teammates you have, whether it be 1 or 2, whoever has the highest light level is going to raise the team up to, I assume, 1966, which is the minimum. That way everyone is going to do enough damage here. They're basically legend style missions, just with extra mechanics and stuff like that. And like I said, you do need one teammate with you, because you are going to be juggling a debuff and you need to pass it on. So that's kind of where the second teammate comes in, as well as dealing with berserkers, which we're going to see in a couple of seconds, and stuff like that. So very early on into the mission, you can see this is pretty much, I would say, like we're 5 minutes into the mission or something like that. You can see once you deal with all the Harbingers, you are going to see your first new enemy here in these cooperative missions. And you're going to see, as soon as we get rid of the Harbinger, there's going to be a Berserker. Now, if you're familiar with Destiny 2 and you played a lot of Strings of the Past and stuff like that, then you know the Berserker enemy type. Basically, when you approach it, it's going to do a little pushback mechanic where it kind of pushes you away, but you have to run inside its bubble, and then one person's going to have to count it down, and at the same time, one person shoots him in the front and one person shoots him in the back. You can see we're getting ready, my teammate counts it down, and then we start shooting. So you can see once you've done it correctly, he's going to get stunned for a little bit, he's going to get a little staggered, and then he'll just start teleporting everywhere, but you'll be able to kill him. Now you can see, once you kill him, these little pyramid symbols, which are on the top right here, as you can see kind of in my peripheral vision. My teammate shot it, but I wasn't ready to shoot the other one, and this is just to show you that once you don't kind of time everything perfectly, you're going to have to do it again. So basically you can see he opened it up. We weren't ready, but we still were able to get the stun right there. So you're going to stun him, do damage however you're going to do it, and then go ahead and get rid of him. Now here you can see I was positioning myself to get ready. That's top left was going to be the first pyramid symbol, and then over here is going to be the other one. Now there is a line that connects them in case you're having a hard time finding it, but you can see my teammate is like, I'm going to shoot that one, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to shoot this one. So I let my teammate count it down. He goes 3, 2, 1, shoot, and then when he says shoot, that's when we shoot the pyramids. And then you can see we have synergized shot successful. So just shoot at the same time, and then you're going to free the little taken orb there, and then he's going to throw it at the taken wall. Now here, you just kill these enemies, clear it out like normal, and we're going to work our way to the next part where we have the next kind of modifier or mechanic here. So you can see we're going to be traversing the frozen mountain, and here you can see I'm fractured by the witness. So one of the 3 or 2 players is going to get this debuff, and all it's going to do is kind of eat away at you, as you can see here. I'm kind of starting to disintegrate or whatever. And when it gets to times 7 is when you want to call it out. You just say, hey, I have fracture by the witness times 7. What that means is when you reach times 7 is you can't double jump, you can't sprint as fast as regular sprint and stuff like that, so it kind of limits your mobility. Now, I said I have times 7, but my teammate took it from me, and you can see here, I was just trying to, tell him about it, but you can see the debuff on the bottom left is fracture recovery. So that's fine if your teammate takes it from you when you're times 7, but ideally, you want your teammate to take it when you're at times 9. And then that's pretty much all you're going to want to do is continue the mission with this debuff on you. But what fracture recovery does is you can't take it back immediately. So you saw how my teammate took it from me. Now that I have fracture recovery, I have to wait until that goes away so I can pick up the buff again. So you can see it's going to start to fade in a little bit. Just pay attention to that middle left side right there above the tangle cooldown, and you're going to see it start to fade at some point. And then that'll tell you like, hey, you're almost close to being able to pick up the buff. That way you can communicate. Again, whoever has the debuff, you want them to say, hey, I'm at times 8, I'm at times 9. When they're at times 9, you want to say, okay, let me take the debuff, let me take the fracture, and then, just keep rotating it. You're basically like play hot potato with it is the best way that I could describe it. But when you make it further on into the mission here, you're going to have to kill these wyverns, and these wyverns are going to drop symbols. You can see there's one to my right there that has the sliced ghost in half, so I call that one sliced ghost. I don't know, whatever your comms may be, but just make sure your teammates understand you. And there's going to be another one across from me. Again, you can see the ghost kind of right there that's cut in half. That's one symbol, and then you can see the other wyvern down there. So we're going to go ahead and clear out the room, and then you're going to see in a little bit that the other wyvern dropped the witness symbol. That's what I call it. Ghost split in half and witness symbol. Yours might be different, but you can notice I don't see any symbols down there. My teammate has glyph touched, which means he can see the symbols at the end of the room. I can't see them, so I have to communicate with him that I saw witness and slice ghost. So he has to run to the back of the room based off of my comms and pick them up. So you can see here he's running to witness and slice ghost, and then he'll continue the mission for us. So that's where the communication comes in, just knowing, the call outs or whatever. Now, the next part of this mission that's pretty annoying is going to be the boss room. You can see it here. You can do a lot of damage very quickly to the Hydra boss here and everything. It's pretty easy to do damage. It's just annoying with the room setup, the ads and everything. But you can see once you get him to half health, Harbinger's going to spawn. Deal with the Harbinger as best as you can. Remember, juggling the debuff at the same time, so if you're at times 7 and you can't run around the room, just communicate with your teammate and tell them, hey, I'm going to be stationary for a little bit just because I want you to take the debuff at times 9, and then you can see we pass it around, and then that's when we actually move around and start planning stuff. You can see the Berserker spawns in. Once you get rid of the Harbinger, prepare yourself, do the countdown, 3, 2, 1, and then shoot the chest and the back. Then you can go ahead and kill the Berserker. So you can see I didn't want to use my heavy on him just because I wanted to melt the boss, but I ended up doing it anyway because I was about to die. So you can see it is a pretty tough mission, I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to paying attention to every debuff and trying to align everything perfectly. It's perfectly fine if you need to take a little bit of extra time. Just make sure your teammate and you are on the same page. That way you guys are taking advantage of things like heavy, taking advantage of the debuffs, taking advantage of everything. That way you're not kind of setting yourself up for failure in a way. So you can see we're still juggling the debuff, and we're trying to kill the Berserker here. Once you kill the Berserker, the middle is going to open right there, and you can see that you can throw it at either side of the room where the taken orb is going to be. So you can see we're about to get the kill. The little darkness bubble is going to go away, that little orange bubble, and then we're going to be able to pick up the thing. But here, we're going to have to shoot the symbols again, like I was saying. You can see the pyramid symbols. There's one here on the left side of the room, and then one on the right side. Just look at the line that's going straight across. I know I edited the other part out because we were juggling the debuff, which took a little bit of time, but you can see if you just shoot both of them at the same time again, he does 3, 2, 1 shoot, and we get it done. Now here, you just gotta pick up the taken orb. It's like the regular part of the mission. I'm just showing it to you, that way you know what to do. And then you can see these enemies blocked it, which is perfectly fine. The orb's gonna respawn. I'm just gonna run over here, pick it up again, and then I'm going to go break this wall here. Now be careful because there is going to be a wyvern on the inside of that room, so make sure you're communicating like, hey, if you're at times 7, make sure you're not using your mobility a lot, make sure you're not jumping. But you can see we're kind of just waiting to pass off the debuff here. Then I'm going to take it because he's at ×9. Then we get ready to push into this room here, and there is going to be some Ascendant enemies around and stuff like that, so just kind of be careful with that. You can see them inside the room here, so make sure you're popping your abilities, make sure you're using that. There is parts of the gameplay where I'm just completely lost because I'm trying to juggle the debuff, I'm trying to make sure my teammate's safe, I don't want us to die, stuff like that. So again, just feel free to use any ability you have, whether it be Transcendence, Heavy, Supers. Again, we're playing super passive, but here you can see I don't have the ability to see what symbol just dropped. My teammate is the one that sees it, so one of you are going to be able to see it. Just make sure you call that out. You can see I have Glyph Touch, which means I can see the symbols at the end of the encounter. I just can't see the ones that drop from the mini bosses. And I know this probably sounds super confusing, but trust me, when you're in game, it's really easy. It's not as hard as it seems. But you can see I communicated with my teammate, got rid of the debuff, and then we're going to make our way over to the other side of the room now. We're just getting rid of some of these enemies here. That little mini Harbinger, or whatever you want to call him, he's pretty annoying because he has that strand ability to drag you in and stuff like that. So make sure you're just taking your time with the ad clear and everything. Get rid of that guy, and then we're going to go ahead and clear this room now. And then you can see once we kill this Wyvern, there's going to be another set of symbols here. So just give it a second. Again, I can't see it. My teammate is the one that's calling it out. I don't remember what the symbols were. I think it was Pyramid Ship and maybe Ghost cut in half. I don't know. Sliced Ghost, but let's just assume those are the callouts that they're giving. Again, you can see I can't see it. He can see it. But Glyph Touch is the person that's in charge of picking up the symbols once you reach the boss room. So you can see I can't see that symbol again. Picking up Heavy, making sure we're ready. And we're going to run back over here. And now these are the symbols that I can see. So basically off my teammate's comms, I just had to remember what he said. I knew it wasn't triangle, I was just trying to pick up this special ammo. I wasn't trying to get too close. But you can see whatever it is right here. Witness, okay, so I pick up Witness, that was one call out that my teammate had. And then it was Pyramid Ship. So whatever comms your teammate gives you, go ahead and pick up those symbols. And then go ahead and do damage to the boss. You can see here I was concerned about my mobility here because I reached ×7. I didn't want to die, you know, jumping or trying to run around the room or something. So we traded the buff, went around over here, did some more damage, and again, it's a lot harder because of you're trying to juggle the debuffs and stuff like that. But trust me, you'll get the hang of it. It's not that difficult. It's just, you know, in the moment a lot is going on. But you can see here, we make quick work of it. It's not anything too crazy. I'm just speeding it up so you don't have to watch the whole entire damage phase. But you can see the debuff does keep going even after you kill the boss, so just be careful with that. You can see I tell my teammate that he takes it. But we're going to move into the second mission now. And the second mission is still just a mix of both things. It's Glyph Touch with the Fractured buff, as you can see on the top middle of my screen. And here's going to be the Granted Ages buff, which is when you make it to the boss fight here. You're going to have these two Harbingers. Kill your two Harbingers just like normal. Just remember you have the debuff going on, so pay attention to your stacks when you have it. But you can see I have Granted Ages. So what I was doing with my teammate was we were going to go ahead and, you know, break the boss's immune shield with the shield. But it turns out whoever has Granted Ages has to be the one to pick up the shield. So you can see I have it. I go ahead and I pick it up. Now you have to hold it for a little bit so you can let the shield shoot. But I'm on an Xbox controller, so for me it was LB, RB. When I have it, you know, charged up with a super on it, I shoot at the boss and we break the shield. Now be careful because there is going to be a set of ads that spawn in along with the boss. Again, you can see we're still juggling the debuff at the same time. But then we go ahead and we start doing some DPS here. He is going to always break into that half health sector right there. As you can see, once we get him immune right there, you just go ahead and you repeat the two Harbinger kills again. You can see there I died. And when you die with the debuff, it is going to automatically pass it to your teammates. So you want to make sure, you know, you guys are on the same page saying who has debuff and who doesn't. So you can see spawn in, and we're going to go ahead and just deal with these two bosses. And then we're going to go ahead and do DPS again. So for this portion, we're going to be in the third mission, and it's going to be Iconoclasm. Now, when you reach this point, this is going to be the only time you're really interacting with two of the debuffs. I'll tell you right now, the Fractured by the Witness debuff is not used at all during this mission, so you don't have to worry about it. The only other two you're going to worry about is the glyph touched one, which again is only one person can see the symbols, and the teammate has to communicate it to the other teammate in order, you know, to get it done. And then the third one is going to be, or I should say the second mechanic that's going to be present is going to be the berserker, like you're seeing on screen. So one person shoot the chest, one person shoot the back at the same time, and then you do DPS, and then you can move on. Now for the pyramids located here, you're just going to want to look up into the middle of the room, and you can see it. There's a straight line connecting them. Count it down, 3, 2, 1, and shoot them. So we do that, no problem. Now when it comes to the rest of the room, this is where you guys are going to have to split up depending on how many teammates you have. Here you can see it's only 2 of us, so it's one person upstairs and one person downstairs. I was glyph touched, so that means I have to stay upstairs. That way when my teammate goes downstairs, he needs to kill the knights. They're going to tell me, okay, it's Slice, Ghost, and Witness, right? So upstairs I have to get those patterns or those symbols. Now while you're doing ad clear up here, when you're glyph touched, all you have to worry about is some red health bar enemies. The only thing is every time your teammate kills a knight down there, there is going to be a harbinger that spawns in upstairs. So you can see in a little bit, there's the first harbinger. Just make sure you nuke it if you have edge trans or something like that, like I just did. And then your teammate should tell you one symbol by that time. And you can see this is how I knew my teammate shot the other symbol. Now the thing is, your teammate's going to stay downstairs until you're able to do all the symbols. So you can see the symbols spawned around me. I know the gameplay sped up, but I'll show you in a second me when I go ahead and claim the symbols. But you can see I'm trying to get rid of the ads here. I'm trying not to die, and I'm trying to free my teammate at the same time. So you can see one of the symbols is Witness. I picked that one up from the downstairs teammate comms, and then we got Pyramid Ship. So once I pick those two up, my teammate now enters the room here. The boss is going to spawn in, and then we're going to go ahead and just do DPS here. There's no phases for this boss. I just recommend try to focus that Harbinger first and then do DPS on the boss, because the boss doesn't have too much health. It's more so just controlling ads and then making your focus on the boss. As you can see here, if I had a tether I would have popped it, but I get it in a couple seconds anyway. But you can see I was out of heavy, so I just had to rely on Outbreak Perfected right here. And then I was just waiting for the super meter to go up. I ended up picking up an Orb of Power in a little bit, which is just sitting there, as well as that heavy brick. And then you can see I tether. Boom, pretty simple. And if you're using Transcendence, you could also take advantage of that buff. I just forget that I have it because it's brand new. But you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and just do DPS. My teammate, I think, pops a super as well. That way we get this done a little faster. Yeah, you can see he starts throwing those Void Titan axes. And you can see just synergy all around. You know, we end up getting it done. But that's kind of a repeating mechanic that you're going to see here in the next part, which is going to be the part with the blights. So we're going to go ahead and get into that right now. So for this portion of the campaign mission, you're going to have the blights on the left and on the right. Now this is going to be split up into 2 phases, and you're going to have to separate from your teammate again. So you can see after dealing with the blights, you're going to go ahead and shoot those. And when my teammate shot the symbol, or not the symbol, but the little crux thing right there in the middle, right next to the circle, it gave me glyph touch. So that means I had to stay upstairs, and my teammate had to go through the portal. That way they can kill the knights downstairs, and then tell me what symbols are downstairs so I can free them and then, you know, advance to the boss damage and everything. So if you're glyph touch, stay upstairs, and if you're not, go downstairs and deal with the knights and everything. So that makes it a little more difficult because you're left alone up here with ads, and if you're downstairs, you're alone with ads too. So if you die, you can't really get res or anything like that. You're just gonna have to, you know, rely on, you know, yourself pretty much throughout most of this. So you can see for me, I was fortunate enough to get the Tormentor stuck in place and everything, but my damage was pretty bad because I didn't have anything to really do damage to him with. But you can see once my teammate communicates with me what the symbols are here, you can see it told me that it was triangle and then pyramid ship. I went and I picked up those 2 symbols, and then that's going to free him from downstairs, and he's going to come up here. Now what's going to happen here is you can see I have granted ages. This is again a repeating mechanic, so I'm going to pick up the relic. I'm going to let it charge up so it gets the super meter full, and then I'm going to aim it at the boss and then press LB and RB on my Xbox controller. And you can see we're going to go ahead and break the shield and then go ahead and do damage to the boss. So the boss doesn't have too much health here, at least I didn't feel like. It was more of just killing ads and trying to make sure you have heavy. I was trying to distract the Tormentor the whole time while my teammate was kind of doing damage with his heavy. But you can see you can do finishers on the Tormentor, so that's nice. So you can just get him to like that last 20% health and then do damage. But you can see us picking up some heavy and then doing damage with my special weapon to kind of save some heavy. But you can see at this point we're going to get those 2 blights, one in the back left and one in the back right. Now me and my teammate, we were saying, okay, we're going to have to switch places now, because it's always going to be, at least if you're playing with 2 players, it's always going to be a reverse order. So you're never going to stay upstairs twice in a row. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to go through the portal because my teammate now is glyph touch. So that means I'm not glyph touch. I need to go downstairs. Before you go downstairs, make sure you shoot an acorn. That way you get the shielded from darkness. And down here, it's pretty much just killing ads for the most part. Make sure you're always near an acorn, and if you're taking damage, just run away. But you can see these big knights here, you're going to have to kill them, and then they're going to drop you a symbol that you have to communicate with your teammate. So you can see I get this knight low, and then I end up getting the kill, and then I'm going to communicate to my teammate, okay, it's pyramid. So I tell my teammate one symbol is pyramid, and then it's not until I get the second kill where I go, okay, it's pyramid and something else, and then they go ahead and they pick those symbols up. That's going to free me from downstairs, and then, you know, we can do boss DPS and move on. So you can see I was having a hard time finding the knight. I don't know, he was hiding from me the whole time. So it wasn't until like a couple minutes later where I actually found him. You can see I was just running around trying not to die, but I went and I eventually found him. Again, it's pretty annoying the way that they spawn in and stuff like that. You can see he spawned in and then teleported after not seeing me for like 5 minutes. But you can see, do some DPS. Don't worry too much about it. You can see sometimes the knight is the only enemy you have to worry about, so it's pretty easy. So I said it was pyramid and sliced ghost. So I told my teammate that. He picks up the symbols. Then these taken walls are going to go away, and then you're going to be able to jump through the portal again. And then you can see you go ahead and you deal with your Tormentor, deal with your boss, and then you can move on to the next section. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fast forward all of this and take you guys to the next section. And you can see right here, it's going to be when you're doing damage to your Harbingers while the Witness is there. Get your Harbinger to the first half of his health bar right here. Where he's low, he's going to go immune. Then go ahead and go to the left side of the arena. The way me and my teammate played this was we have to go to the left side anyway. So he was left, I was right. We both had to meet up to shoot that acorn so we get shielded from darkness so we can go inside the room here. Now when you make your way here, there is going to be a berserker, which again, you have to shoot him in the chest and in the back at the same time. So then you go ahead and do damage to kill him, and then that's going to uncover the pyramids that you have to shoot. So you can see, you do some damage. Just be careful with the little guys that spawn in there, because when you kill them, they explode and they drop the, whatever that is, the worm that follows you. But you can see I run outside since my teammate's going to shoot the pyramid that was right behind the berserker, and I'm going to shoot the one in the middle, kind of by the little monument right here, as you can see. So we count it down, we shoot at the same time, and then we get the synergized shot successful. I shot it twice just because I thought it didn't activate, but apparently it did on the first shot. And then you can see the Witness is going to unleash an attack. That's just regular kind of dialogue for the mission there. But my teammate's going to pick up the shield now, and he's going to bring the relic over here to the middle. And then just make sure you're standing in it while your teammate is blocking with the Aegis. So you can see you're going to go ahead and wait in here. You could try to do some DPS like you would in the campaign mission, but you can see the boss was just hiding from us here, the Harbinger, so there was nothing we really could do. And if you move around too much, you want to stand directly over that crack of light, because if you don't, you lose energy for ages, and then you could just die in the middle of the debris and stuff. So we go ahead, we make our way through the first DPS phase. Then after we kill him, we're going to go through the portal, and this is going to be the second time back. You have to shoot acorns, that way you don't die because of the shielded from darkness buff. So make sure you're always near acorns, and then start doing damage to your Harbinger, the second one. This one's going to be a strand one. And then once you get him to half health, you can go ahead and rotate to the right side now. And you're basically going to repeat what you just did with the Berserker, but on the right side. So you can see I get him immune, run to the right, and then we're going to go ahead and pick up an acorn. That way we're not dying from the toxic gas or whatever. And you can see, go ahead and we shoot the front and the back on the Berserker at the same time. Now we go ahead and we get the kill, and you can see one pyramid is directly behind him, and the other pyramid is going to be on the left side of the monument in the middle, basically in the same place where the other one was, but on the left side. And you can see here my teammate goes outside, so we can go ahead and get ready for that. He's going to count it down. He's going to tell me 3, 2, 1, shoot. So I sit here and I just wait for him to get ready. But I'm kind of aiming in the direction where the other pyramid is. But you can see right here, we're going to wait for it, count it down, and then we shoot it at the same time to get the synergized shot, as you can see. And then once you do that, I almost forgot that you have to pick up the relic. So I was going to run outside, and I was like, wait, this guy's immune. I have to use the relic to break his shield. So run back in there, pick up the shield, and then we're going to go ahead and run this way. Now, you can see we're going to go ahead and charge it up, aim it at the boss real quick. That way you can break that immune shield. There we go. Now you're going to have to run back to middle, and then stand over that crack of light. That way you have infinite use of the shield. And then you can see here my teammate was able to get some extra damage in because the Harbinger was just standing there. So again, just hold that shield for a little bit until it goes away. And then all you have to do is just complete it like normal. Again, it's not too hard. There's no other mechanics other than this, but this is basically the last part of the mission. Just be careful when it comes to dying, because again, you do have limited revives and stuff like that. Here you can see they started dragging me towards the middle, which I was starting to lose my mind. I was like, what is happening? But again, once you complete the mission, you will get the Convalescence budding quest complete, and it's going to say return to the Arbor of Light. So return to the Lost City and then go speak to Micah 10. When you speak to her, she is going to give you the Microcosm exotic, as you can see right there. So for me, it dropped 1975, which is pretty good. But that's going to do it for the quest. If you found it useful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell so you don't miss another video. So follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/MonkeyJam0. A place with my Destiny 2 guys will be popping up on screen right now. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.